Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello and good morning, honorable judges and esteemed guests. How are you today? I have a big question. What builds our identity? Is it our background, personality, or even the environment we live in? Ladies and gentlemen, although those are true factors of what builds our characters, there's also one big thing that shapes us, which is our culture. But how does our ancestor play a role on defining us? How does our culture, our identity, truly our own? Or are we just a reflection of the culture we live in? Hello everyone, I'm Soraya Aulia Abror from Trensains Tebuireng Senior High School. Today, I will be giving you a speech on the topic of culture, on how culture does not only shape us, it also builds us. Everyone. Culture is the way of life of a group of people. It includes their beliefs, values, norms, traditions, and even the languages that the people use and pass down from one generation to another. We are not born with our culture. We learn our culture subconsciously. We learn our culture very early on from our parents teaching us small things like how to speak to the elders. Now, I believe most of us here are from Indonesia. We're from Indonesian blood, heritage, and culture. We're born from one of the world's most culturally diverse nations. According to Venus Global, our culture is made up of over 1,300 ethnic groups and over 700 local languages. Let me tell you an example. Surabaya and Yogyakarta. Although both of these cities only a few hours apart, they have a very different way of speaking. How? Surabaya is more known with their strong and energetic dialect, while Yogyakarta is more calm and steady. Now, as Indonesian in diversity, we proudly say Bhinneka Tunggal Ika, or unity in diversity. But how does our culture unite us? Are we not shaped quietly differently from each other? Since childhood, we're taught on the right and wrongs, the little things we should do out of manners. For example, when passing by someone older, we must bow down to show respect for them. That is a Javanese culture called Unga Ungu. But what about when the whole neighborhood come together to help each other or to prepare for an event? That is gotong royong, as in helping each other. That is how culture affects everyday life. It influences our perception of life, personality, and even the communication style. Now, it also shapes society. Culture provides a blueprint. It gives us social norms, social hierarchies, language. In Indonesia, there is 5 principles of Pancasila, which is the direct product of Indonesia's culture and values. One of the principles is called Persatuan Indonesia, or the unity of Indonesia. It teaches us to be united, although we are spread across hundreds of islands and thousands of ethnic groups. Now, some might argue, doesn't our culture limit our individuality? Well, that is a very fair argument. And I believe culture should not be a cage and nor a chain. Culture should be a foundation for us to build ourselves, to be someone better than ourselves right now. Now let's talk about the global era. What about the global era? We live in a time where news, morals, and everything pass through borders in seconds. Nowadays, younger generation know more about pop songs rather than traditional instruments. They know more the story of the Hollywood movies rather than Keong Emas. Well, believe it or not, that is not their problem. It's not because of them. It's because of globalization. Although globalization might seem scary, globalization does not have to be a threat. It can be our biggest stage. How, you might ask? We have social media and internet. We can post anything there. Post your batik on Instagram or post your traditional dance on TikTok. Share our tradition to the world, to your international friends. Because every action, every video, every post, every conversation we have is an act of resistance against the erasure of our culture. And it's also an act of love for our heritage. Now let's go back. What builds our identity? Is our identity truly our own? Or are we just a reflection of the culture we live in? Ladies and gentlemen, I believe that culture builds us because without culture, we won't learn our first language. We won't learn our first very big morals. We won't learn our first big we won't learn our first language, our first culture, our first manner. We won't learn anything. Now, there's culture. Culture is a guide, is a way of life for us to go through. So as Indonesians, let us be proud of where we come from, where we are from, because now in the era of globalization, we must steadfast and not be erased. Don't forget where we come from, because the most beautiful identity is not the one you inherit, but it's the one you built with the joy of heart. Thank you very much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.